I'm Jamie from Denton, just outside Manchester. Come over on Monday from Stansted. I had to get to Stansted, then to travel all the way over here, and then just to hear the news from last night. It's just quite embarrassing for the club, really. Thought there was something wrong, lack of commitment there last night. That's about it, really.
Do you think Mancini's right when he says that he's never going to play for City again?
At the minute he is, yeah, until we know what officially has gone on. There may be something else there. But yeah, if he's refused to play, not pay his wages.
Yeah. And obviously somebody who's gone down to Stansted, shelled out quite a bit of money for this, and then for one of your players to refuse to take the field, I mean, how do you feel about that?
Just, what do we pay the wages for? What do we fork all this money out for? Season tickets, away games? Just total disappointment, really.
And would you be happy to see him play for City again, or do you think this is the end of the road now?
I think it's the end now. I think he's had enough chances. Wanted out in the summer.
My name's Bob Harvey from Dukinfield. Came out here Monday. We had to drive down to Stansted, which took us 5 hours, and we had a hotel drive back in from Stansted tomorrow morning. Altogether it's cost us about 300 quid. This is an also we already booked to go to Villarreal. That's cost us another 200 quid. And to hear the news about Tevez, I just can't understand it. No one's bigger than the club. I agree 100% with Mancini. He should never play again. If that's his attitude, you can see him when he is warming up. His heart's not in it. Well, I'm a pensioner. I don't get a lot of money. And for me to come out here and go to Spain, it's cost me a lot of my money. And for the money he's on, nah, get rid. Go.
So you'd be happy to never see him play for City again?
I would. Yeah. I'd just say, let him go.
Somebody else I was speaking to said one of the things about City fans, obviously the history they've had, they don't mind every now and then seeing the team get beat, but they demand 100%. And if you're not giving that,
yesterday I couldn't believe it. For the first half hour, they never looked in any trouble. They weren't causing them much, but they were playing decent football. All of a sudden, it just went. It was baffling. All the people around me were saying, "What's going on?" It just went, and then to hear that about Tev. No, it's sickening. It's sickening.
My name's Peter Sutcliffe from Little Oulton in Salford. Came down on Monday evening with 2 mates. We flew out of Stansted in Essex, which has been a hell of a trip down and trip across. Great game for 30 minutes. It's cost us about 500 quid each, plus the costs in the Oktoberfest. Very expensive trip, and we get treated by certain players with utter contempt.
You mentioned it was not just what happened with Tevez, but also the fact that some of his teammates didn't even bother coming over at the end to thank you.
Well, I don't think the fans to some of the players are that important anymore. They're still going to pick their wage packet up. Alright, they don't get a win bonus for it, but I'm sure they make enough money without making a win bonus.
And what are your thoughts towards Tevez?
Everybody said he was going to be professional this season, having handed in his transfer request and no one's coming to buy him. As far as I'm concerned, he's finished with the club. To do that when it was so obvious that we needed him. He was given the golden opportunity to play his way back into the side, and he decided not to. And he's just shown utter contempt to the fans, to the club, to everybody. We've bent over as a club to help him. We've embarrassed ourselves to the rest of football in the things we've done to keep him happy, and that's the way he treats us in the end.
Do you think he'll be in a blue shirt again?
Well, if Mancini says what people are saying he said that he won't, then no, because I back the manager 100% in what he does. Everyone criticised the manager last year that he wasn't getting it right. He delivered a trophy. This year he's delivered attacking football. All he's got to do is find his balance, which he will.
Karen Downs from Stockport. How much we spent? I think it cost us about probably £1,000 to get over here, plus maybe, with all the shopping on top of it and the beer in the beer fest. A bit disappointed. We don't really know what happened. We were sat very, very far away. The seating was actually quite poor, so it was like watching the game on the TV, really. But obviously hearing that Tevez wouldn't play, if that's indeed what's happened, is a little bit of a joke. I mean, we find it quite frustrating anyway when you go to away games and the players very, very rarely come and, apart from company, none of them even bother. They just walk off, and that's what they did again last night. And it costs a lot to get here. Some people have done 48-hour return trips, so but I also do think that there was some poor decision making by Mancini as well. Whether this has been instigated by what happened with Tevez, I don't know. But to kind of bring 3 substitutes on, all of whom are defensive players, when you're losing 2-0 down at half time, and to make the comment that, well, we were 2-0 down so the game was over anyway, seems a bit disappointing to me.
Although maybe point to it and say, well, I tried to bring an attacker on and he wouldn't come on.
Maybe that's right, but then if that's the situation that's behind the scenes, then why wasn't Balotelli on the bench? And then it would have done without this. I mean, I don't know. I can't really judge what's happened. Obviously, it's completely ridiculous. There's obviously something hugely wrong for this to happen.
Who would you support in this? I mean, Mancini said that Tevez is never going to play for me again. Would you back him if that is the case?
Yeah, if it's the case, then I think that's fair, because he has a contract. He should fulfil his contract. Up until now, he seems to have always done that, to be fair to him, even though with all this stupidness about not liking Manchester and everything, I don't really care about that. He's always played pretty well.
Yeah. Brendan Downs from Stockport, paid about 800-900 quid to come over here. Obviously very disappointed about the result, but I'm not really surprised about Tevez's attitude. I think we've seen that sort of building over all his previous clubs. He's a great, don't get me wrong, he's a great player. I think he gives it all when he's on the pitch, but he's the modern footballer. There's no loyalty there, and he's looking for a move, so it's his agenda. I think Mancini's maybe fallen into the trap with him, but good riddance. I think we've got as good players coming through, and it's disappointing now, but I think it's better to get him out and let's move on.
Would you be happy for City to cut the losses on him and just terminate his contract?
I think we're in the fortunate position that we can afford to. Personally, I would rather that we kept him on some kind of reduced, I'm not sure what the legalities are, but I'd rather we kept him, stuck him in the reserves, and he doesn't play. No one else has him. We're in the position when we can do that, and we're the only club who can really afford to do that to a player like him. So maybe we should just use the spending power and support the good thing that we should be doing. The club should be bigger than him.
Do you think he has any idea? I mean, I've spoken to a lot of fans here who've worked hard every day, saved up for this over quite a period of time, taking days off work. Do you think he has any regard for that?
None at all. I don't think there's many of the players who've got the club at the moment, other than maybe Company and De Jong, and maybe Joe Hart, who you'd imagine coming back in 10, 20 years to be part of the ex-players group. I don't think there's any kind of real connection, and as I say, I think he's quite a simple-minded guy. Great footballer, but we're just another club for him, and he's just another player for us now. I think he's burned his bridges.
My name's Dennis Dargan, I'm 53, I'm from Ludham St Anne's, and I'm over watching City with my son and my good friend James. I was at the match last night. We have made a holiday out of this, but we've gone to some trouble to get over here to be there for the occasion. First European match away and everything. And as far as Tevez is concerned, from the beginning of this year, from the point at Wembley, what's been coming across to me is that I feel as though he's been choosing particular times to make his statements and to make his not just physical statements, his verbal statements, but his gestures. And I think that he will come and he will go. We stay here. When he's here and he takes the money from the club, I expect him to respect the club and and therefore respect us as fans. And I feel that it's totally disrespectful for him to have acted in the way, as I understand that he has done. That if Mancini has asked him to go on and he's refused, I think it's breach of contract, and I think that should be the end of it. I've enjoyed seeing Carlos Tevez. Last season is one of the best players that I've ever seen. He'll always have an iconic status for the club because of the point in our history when it came. He helped, I think, to persuade us that actually we were on the cusp of better things. He's shown us that was the case, but he is not bigger than the club. Aguero has come in and shown that he's equally as good a player. We're not reliant on him, and if he doesn't want to play, don't play, but don't get paid either.
Do you think this might actually turn out in a bizarre way to be a good thing for City, that now it's all out in the open and they might, get rid of the bad apple?
I think that there's a destabilising influence in there. I don't know, but I can't help feeling that his agent and Cook, there seems to be a history there, and I feel as though in many ways we're just pawns in this. If he does go and we are left with players who are committed, who want to take us on to the next stage, and who are prepared to join together and not have this underlying current of cynicism and everything else, that if we're to remove that, it's got to be for the good.
Hi, my name's Aidan. I'm 23 and I'm from St Anne's near Blackpool. We've had a really good couple of days into the Oktoberfest. Got to the game. It was a pretty disappointing game. None of the players played particularly well, but to find out what's happened is quite infuriating, to be honest. We've invested a lot of money to come over here and support the team, and we support all the players. But when the players don't try, don't even come on, refuse to come on, then it's very disappointing, and we hope that we can get rid of him, to be honest. But at the same time, he's valued. He's a good player, so we should be getting some money from him. Can't just get rid of him, end of contract. If I went into work tomorrow and refused to do my work, then I'd get sacked. So it should work the same, but he should have to pay us compensation, I feel.
Do you think Carlos Tevez has any idea about the fans, and they save up and come across here and take holiday days and whatnot?
No, I don't think he does. I don't think many footballers do, to be honest, but that's besides the point. I think it was a very selfish decision what he chose to do last night, and there was no regard for any of the 3,000 fans that came over.
And would you be happy to see him never play for City again?
I don't expect him to ever play for us again, but I wouldn't want him to get away on a free and then go join Inter Milan or someone, and for City to lose out on 40-50 million pounds. So
somebody else made the point they'd like to see him spend it, if nobody else can afford him, just spend his time in the reserves at City.
No, I don't think that would be very good for the youngsters coming through to have that sort of an attitude around. They might pick up bad habits from him. He might influence them negatively. So I don't want him anywhere near the first team or the reserves.